I, David Kenani Maraga, Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya.
David Maraga hit the headline around 2016 when he was appointed as Kenya's Chief Justice. Before that, he was just a Court of Appeal judge. But he wasn't really making headlines. But in 2017 is when he blew up big time. After making the ruling of the century, nullifying Uhuru Kenyatta's presidential election victory, this was the first time in African history that a court overturned a sitting president's win due to election irregularities.
As to whether the irregularities and the irregularities affected the integrity of the election, the court was satisfied that they did, and thereby banning the integrity of the entire presidential election.
People started seeing him as a no-nonsense guy with solid principles. He stood firm for justice and never backed down no matter the pressure. Plus, he was known for being deeply religious, a devoted Seventh-day Adventist. He even publicly declared that he doesn't hear cases on Saturdays because of his faith. In short, Maraga stepped into the spotlight in 2016, but 2017 is when he went global with that ruling, which shook the country as a whole.
I will at all times, and to the best of my knowledge and ability, protect, administer, and defend this Constitution with a view to upholding the dignity and respect for the judiciary and the judicial system of Kenya, and promoting fairness, independence, competence, and integrity within it. So help me God.
So you could be asking yourself, what happened after the 2017 election ruling? After Chief Justice Maraga led the Supreme Court of Kenya in nullifying Uhuru Kenyatta's presidential election victory in 2017, his relationship with the government went south very fast. That ruling shook the country, and the government did not take it lightly.
Wacha nicheke kwa sababu nafikiri kwa sababu ya hizo nguo wanavaa wanaona Wakenya wengine ni wajinga.
Uhuru, clearly furious, went on record saying, "We shall revisit," a statement that many saw as a direct threat to the judiciary. From that moment, things became tense, and Maraga's job as CJ got way tougher.
And I have always said, we have a problem with our judiciary, but regardless, we respect, but we shall revisit.
So you could be asking yourself, how frustrating did the government become to Maraga after the nullification of elections?
Service Commission addressed Kenyans through a press conference at this very place over the increasing incidents of attacks by various groups of people who were given to making threats and demands intended to interfere with the work of the judiciary. Since the Supreme Court delivered the judgment on the 2017 presidential election petition on 1st of September 2017, these attacks have become even more aggressive, culminating in lengthy and uninterrupted demonstrations right outside the Supreme Court building yesterday and today.
After the ruling, the judiciary faced a series of attacks, some direct, and here is how. Judiciary budget cuts. One of the first moves by the government was slashing the judiciary's budget. This crippled court operations, delayed cases, and made it harder for the judiciary to function effectively. Maraga repeatedly called out the government for using budget cuts as a weapon against the courts.
You also know that I have, for a long time now, and successfully sought an appointment to discuss this issue with you, leaving me with no option but to raise the matter through this public statement. Some of the individuals the executive claims to have adverse information against are serving judges. If the executive's allegations are true, these persons should not then be serving as judges. However, no evidence whatsoever has been availed to the JSC, both during the interviewing process and after.
The second way that the government frustrated the judiciary was the disrespect and exclusion from state functions. Maraga later revealed that he was sidelined from key government events, and like his predecessors, he was not invited to official state functions. He was denied an audience with the president multiple times. Even during national celebrations, he was barely recognized, something unheard of for a sitting Chief Justice.
Let me tell you, we are not going to allow that to happen.
To many, this was a clear sign of executive hostility towards the judiciary. The third way was the blocking of judicial appointment. Another major battle was the refusal to appoint judges. The judiciary had requested additional judges to ease the backlog of cases, but the government flatly refused to approve them. This led to massive delays in cases hearings, frustrating Kenyans seeking justice.
The High Court, in two petitions filed last year by David Kariuki Ngari and Adrian Kamodho Njenga, ordered the president to appoint the 41 nominees within 14 days, insisting he had no constitutional mandate to question or reject names recommended to him by JSC. The president, in his response to the petitions, through Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua, argued that appointing some of the nominees would be contrary to principles of good governance, accountability and integrity.
The president cannot change the list, review it, or reject some names. He cannot decide to cherry-pick from the list of nominees.
The effect of the push and pull between the heads of the executive and judiciary is a backlog of cases. In the Environment and Land Court, there are 16,457 pending cases as at March this year that must be handled by 33 judges. The Employment and Labor Relations Court has 13,197 pending cases that must be dealt with by 12 judges. The Appellate Court has 7,315 unresolved cases as at the end of March, with 15 judges on the list.
The fact that the Gen Zs are even considering David Maraga as a potential presidential candidate for 2027, despite having younger leaders like Murara Kebaso and experienced politicians like Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, William Ruto, and Raila Odinga, says a lot about the kind of leadership they want. But can he really win elections? While Maraga ticks many boxes for Gen Zs, politics is a whole different game. Some challenges he will face include: he has no political party or grassroots movement. Unlike seasoned politicians, he doesn't have a party or a nationwide network to rally voters. The system fights outsiders. That is the second challenge that he might face. Kenyan politics is structured to favor insiders. A clean leader like Maraga would struggle against politicians who control resources and powers. Even if Maraga doesn't run, the fact that Gen Zs admire him shows that they are hungry for leadership that is different. Whether it's him or someone else, the future of Kenya politics is shifting from tribalism and corruption to integrity and merit-based leadership. If he ever did run, though, that will shake up the 2027 race in a big way.
So help me God.
Follow for more videos.